Hello everyone, and it's mystery video day. Now, I really didn't know what to do today, and I thought maybe we could do some science or some geography or some history, but I thought as this is our first mystery video together, I would do something that I really enjoy doing, and I'm sure you've been doing a lot of since school closed. Okay, so if you haven't noticed, today we are in my kitchen and we are going to do some baking today. So I thought we could make some chocolate chip cookies. Now this is one of Miss Andrews' favourite recipes. Okay, and hopefully you enjoy them too. So, before we start, the recipe, if you would like to do this, will be in a folder with the video, okay? So, baking. What we have to do first is make sure that everywhere is nice and clean and we've washed our hands, okay? So I've already done it. My sides are all nice and clean and I have washed my hands, okay? So we're going to run through the ingredients to make the cookies. Okay, so you will need some plain flour. You will need some brown sugar. I've got light brown sugar. You will need some butter. You will need some bicarbonate of soda. Now, you don't have to use this in your cookies. However, it makes them a bit lighter so they're not as thick, okay? You will need some eggs. And you will need some cocoa powder. Now, if you don't have cocoa powder, I just use hot chocolate powder. It just works just as well, okay? And then the final thing you will need is lots and lots of chocolate chips or chocolate buttons. Now, there was only white chocolate chips at the shop, so I've put in some chocolate buttons as well. Okay. So, when we are cooking, we need to be very careful, okay, because we will be using the oven today. Now, you will have to let your add-on to whoever you live with, whether that's mum or dad or nan and granddad, okay, they need to be the ones that uses the oven, okay, because it's very hot and you might end up hurting yourself, okay. So you can watch when we put the cookies into the oven and take them out, but it's probably safer to let your adult do them, okay? So before we start mixing all our ingredients together and weighing them out, we need to turn the oven on so that it is ready to cook the cookies, okay? So the oven needs to go on at 190 degrees, okay? I'm going to put the oven on now. There we go. The oven is on. Now that's going to warm up, so when we put the cookies in, it can start cooking the cookies straight away, okay? And they're finished baking quicker. Okay, so you will need a bowl and a spoon. And hopefully you have some weighing scales, okay? Now in maths this week we have been practicing measuring in centimetres. Today, we are going to measure in something called grams. So that's when we weigh things. When we want to know what something weighs, we use grams, okay? So, the first thing you will need to get ready is the butter. Now, you need 300 grams of butter. Now, 300 looks like 300, okay? So we need to weigh out 300 grams of butter. So I'm going to do that now. And then I'll show you on the scales, okay? Okay, let me just get a knife. Now, I've got a block of butter. You can just use butter that you use to butter your sandwiches with. It works just the same. So you need to make sure your scales are on, okay, and it starts with the 0 first, okay? You don't want any other numbers, otherwise how much you weigh will be wrong, okay? So I'm just going to cut a big chunk off. quite tough. And then I'm going to pop it in the scales. Okay, so that's only 106 grams, so I need a lot more yet. So let's try and get some more butter. Nope, still not enough. And actually, I still need more butter. So, like I said, I'm going to use some butter that you butter your toast with, okay? And actually, this butter is easier because it's already nice and soft. With the butter that I had, I'm going to have to chop it up. Okay. That'll do. Okay, so let me show you the weighing scales now so you can see if I've got 300 grams of butter. Okay, let me move the computer. Ready? So here's the weighing scales. Don't know if you can see the number actually. There we go. So I've got just over 300 grams, but that'll be fine. Okay? So now, because I've got tough hard butter, I'm going to have to do a little bit of chopping first, okay, to make sure it's nice and soft. So I'm going to put my butter into the mixing bowl. Now, if you don't mix your butter up, okay, so it's nice and soft first, it's going to be a little bit difficult when you add in your other ingredients, okay? So you're going to start chopping. Even if you've got soft butter, okay, you need to mix it all up and make sure it's nice and smooth and soft, okay? So I'm going to do that now. Now your arm might get tired after today with all the mixing. You have to keep going and keep going and keep going. Now some of you might have an electric whisk or a cake mixer, okay? I've just got a wooden spoon, but I prefer doing it this way, okay? So you have to keep chopping and chopping and chopping, mix it, and try and get nice and smooth before we add the sugar in, okay? Because that will help to make really scrumptious cookies. Now I'm using chocolate chips and I'm using chocolate buttons. Now, you might like to add some fruit into that. You might like to add some cherries. You might like to add some nuts if you're allowed to eat nuts, okay? I know lots of cookies have things like that in. Okay, right. Looking a bit softer now. I'm going to show you now. Okay, I'm going to put that down. Show you my butter in the bowl. Now it's a bit smoother, still needs a little bit more yet, but that'll be fine, okay? So, next thing is to weigh out the sugar, okay? So I'm going to check the amount because I can't remember how much it is. So it's 375 grams of sugar. I'm going to get some scissors instead. No, my luck, I would try and open the sugar and it would go everywhere. Okay, so when you get your scales back out again, you need to make sure that it's on 0 again before you pour in your sugar, okay? So 375 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. Okay, put a little too much in there. That'll be fine. I'm going to show you again on the scales now, okay? So off we go, off we go. So I've got 379, so that is a little bit too much. So normally I would get a spoon and just take a little bit out, but for today, I'm just going to leave it in there, okay? So, here we go. So, you take your sugar, you pour it in with the butter, okay? So, have a look now. Dun, dun, dun. Now, we have to mix that, and we have to keep mixing and mixing and mixing till it's really smooth and lovely, okay? So, stretch out your muscles, because you're gonna need lots of muscles for this one, because your arms are gonna hurt afterwards, okay? So, here we go. So you have to do it until it's nice and smooth, okay? Now, I'm sure lots of you have already been doing lots of baking at home. I've seen some of you been making some jam tarts, lots of different things. I love baking. Just keep mixing and mixing and mixing. So if you have a look now, it's not smooth yet. So the sugar is now all stuck to the butter, okay? It's all stuck to the butter, but it needs to be nice and smooth. Okay, so we have to keep mixing and mixing. Okay, so we have to keep mixing and mixing and pushing. What I forgot to say at the beginning of the video is we've put the oven on, but you also need to get ready your trays, okay? Now today I'm going to do one big cookie and then some little cookies as well, okay? Now if you've got any cookie cutters, that will be really good. So I've got some cookie cutters that I'm going to use, a nice star, okay? So you have to get those trays ready. So I've got a nice flat tray. And what I have done is put a little bit of grease-proof paper, okay, on the top and make sure it's stuck down with some butter. And I've got a bigger tray because I'm going to do one big cookie as well, okay? So you have to keep mixing and mixing and mixing so it's nice and smooth. Now hard butter is always a pain, because it doesn't smooth down as quickly, okay? So you have to keep mixing until it's nice and smooth. Woo! It's getting warm in here now. When you're cooking, what's your favourite thing to make? Do you like making cakes? Do you like making, I don't know, maybe pasta? Maybe you've made some pasta before. You can see that Miss Andrews hasn't done baking for a while because her arm's starting to hurt already. Just keep mixing and mixing and mixing. Now, if it's not coming through, you might need to get an adult to help you if your arm's starting to hurt a lot, okay? Or a trick is to use the other hand. Now, it's not as easy and not as quick, but it gives you a good arm rest. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Okay, so today we're going to be making double chocolate chips, so that's why we're using some cocoa powder. Okay, so they're not just going to be chocolate chips, they're going to be chocolate cookies with chocolate chips in. Bananas also go very good with chocolate. Okay, right. Miss Andrews' arm is hurting now, and it's not quite as smooth as I would normally make it, but it's going to do now. So look how it's different now, it's quite smooth. Okay, so now the next part, we need to add some eggs. Okay, so we'll need 3 eggs. Okay, so if you get 3 eggs, give it a little bit more. There we go. So 3 eggs. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now you have to be very careful not to get egg everywhere. So Miss Andrews just bangs it on the side of the bowl. Now you might like to get an adult to help you here. Okay, so do it very gently because they crack really easily. You don't want to go really hard and smack it and it crack everywhere. Okay, so give it a tap, 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 and when you start to hear it crack, then turn it back up. So now look, we've got a bit of a hole in it. So now you're going to put one finger one side of it and the other over the hole and carefully break it open into the bowl. Okay, so that's 1 egg, put them straight into the bin. Now you have to be very careful with eggs not to put your fingers in your mouth now. So as soon as we've done the eggs, we have to wash our hands again, okay? So remember, just gently tap, okay? Now crack it open into the bowl. Okay, straight into the bin. And the last egg. Okay, so remember, gently tap. And break it in. Okay, now wash your hands. Okay, so now we need to mix it all up now. Now you have to go very carefully, and it doesn't look that great. We'll show you now. It looks a bit of a mess now. Okay, so you have to mix that all in together. And go careful not to go too fast, it goes everywhere. So keep mixing until it's all mixed in. Okay. Good mix really fast. Now it's not going to look great, okay, but then that's when we add in the flour and it'll look really much better. Okay, so now we need to add in the flour and the cocoa powder. Okay, so we need, how much flour do we need? That's it, we need 375 grams of flour as well, okay? So, get your flour, make sure the scales are on 0 again. Now, 375 grams is 3, 7, and 5, okay? So, 375 grams of flour. And tip it in until you see the number 375. Oh, gets a bit messy with the flour, as I've just tipped lots of flour over the side. Okay, so We're almost there. Almost there. Okay, there we go. So, 375 grams of flour and some on the side, but it's okay. There's the flour. Now, you should get a sieve and sieve it in so there's no lumps, but Miss Andrews had to put hers in the bin because it broke. So I'm just going to tip my flour in, okay? I'm going to tip it all in. Okay, now I'm going to get the cocoa powder ready, okay? Now remember again, you don't have to have proper cocoa powder, you can just use hot chocolate powder, okay? Now we're going to need 90 grams of cocoa powder. So 90 is 9 and 0, 90 grams of cocoa powder, okay? So we're going to look for that on the scale. So you're going to tip it in until you see 90 grams. And I don't have enough of that, so I'm going to get another one now. When you're baking, you have to try to be as accurate as you can when measuring. Now, when it comes to cookies, it doesn't really matter, but if we have a look at the scales, I've got 92 grams there of cocoa powder, okay? But it doesn't really matter. It'll just make it more chocolatey, okay? So now I'm gonna, again, you should probably sieve it in, but I haven't got a sieve, so I'm just gonna tip it in, okay? And then we need the bicarbonate of soda. Now, if you don't have any, it's fine, okay? It'll just make your cookies a little bit thicker, okay? So you need a teaspoon. Now, a teaspoon is one of the little spoons, okay? It's a little spoon, okay? And you're going to need 1 teaspoon. So scoop it up. Try and get it level, look. 1 level. So gently tap it off. That's 1. So I'm going to put that into the bowl. And then a half, okay? Just like that. Okay. Now we need to mix it all in. Now you have to be very, 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 very careful because there's lots of flour in there and cocoa powder, and it'll go up in your face. Okay, so you have to do it gently to begin with, and then you can mix it faster afterwards. Okay. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in the bowl now before I start mixing. Okay, so we need to start mixing now. Okay. So here we go. So gently mix to begin with, okay, until some of that flour starts mixing with the eggs, the butter and the sugar, okay? So gently. Now for cookies, your mixture, all this in the bowl, will start to get quite thick, okay? So you have to keep mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing till it comes quite thick, and almost that you can pick it up and mould it in your hands, almost, okay? It's not a runny mixture. So you'll find it might get a little bit tricky when you are mixing it all together, okay? So you have to keep mixing. And mixing. So you can probably go faster now, okay? Because it's joined together, it's combined, okay? So all the mixture has combined together, so you can probably go faster now. Now you have to try and keep mixing it in because you want all the ingredients to mix together so that when it goes in the oven, it bakes better, okay? So if the ingredients aren't mixed together, it doesn't come out very well, especially for cakes. Now, I'm going to show you it now. It still needs more mixing yet, but I'm going to show you what it looks like now. Okay? So it still needs more mixing yet, but can you see how thick it is now? Okay? It's getting a bit warm in my kitchen. I'm just going to open the window. So you have to make sure it's properly all mixed together before you can add the chocolate chips in, okay? Sometimes bringing it too closer to you can help mixing it. Not really for me. Again, if you're struggling to mix it, you might get an adult to help you, okay? Okay, so I'm going to show you now. Actually, I'm not going to show you. Once it's fully mixed together and you're happy with it, now you can add your chocolate chip and your chocolate buttons, okay? So, in this container, I've got 2 bags of white chocolate chips and some chocolate buttons. Okay, now I'm just going to chip them into the bowl. All in. Tip them all in. Okay, now you need to mix it to try and get the chocolate chips and the chocolate buttons spread through the mixture, okay? Because you don't want one cookie that's just full of chocolate buttons and chocolate chips and another cookie that's got none, okay? So you have to try and mix it through evenly. Okay, it's getting quite tough for me to mix now. Okay, so I'm going to move the weighing scales out of the way because we don't need them anymore. Move the ingredients to one side. Okay, so I'm going to show you it now. Okay, all mixed together. Okay, so now this is a bit of the fun part, okay? So, like I said before, I'm going to make one giant cookie. I'm going to make small little cookies, okay? Now, I have cookie cutters. Now, if you don't have cookie cutters, it's fine. All you need to do is just get a spoon, scoop it out, and put it on the baking tray, okay? But if you've got a cookie cutter, put a little bit down, smush it down, and then use a cookie cutter to cut. So that's what we're going to do now, okay? So, let's have a look. Can you see? I think you can see. Okay. There we go. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to make my big cookie, okay? So I'm just going to spoon some of it into it. Okay, now it's stuck to my spoon. Can you see how it's stuck to my spoon? I'm just going to get a normal knife that we eat our dinners with and just scrape it off the spoon, okay? Scrape it off, that helps, okay? We're just going to smooth it down a little bit. Smooth it down, smooth it down. It's quite a sticky mixture, this one. Makes nice gooey chocolate cookies. Okay, so I need a little bit more mixture into there. Okay, so I'm just going to put it down. So you don't have to make a big cookie. Miss Andrews is just being a little bit greedy. Okay, means I can just put some ice cream on the top of it later. There we go, just mix it and spoon it down. And a little bit more. And then this cookie is done. Now, if you do decide to make one big one, don't worry that it doesn't go all the way to the edges, okay? It will flatten out slightly when it goes into the oven, okay? Okay, that one's done. Okay, so now we need to make the small ones. Okay, so I'm going to use a little spoon. I'm going to scoop one lot up. Okay, and then I'm going to use my knife to just scrape it off. Okay, now if you want to shape your cookies, that's fine. But honestly, just leaving it in a bit of a lump like this is good. Because when it goes into the cooker, the butter inside it and the sugar melts. So it means it doesn't stay in this shape, it melts down, okay, and spreads out slightly. That's why you don't want to put your cookies too close together, okay? So, go back again. Get some more. Okay, I'm going to put that one down there. Now I probably put them ones a little bit too close together because they'll probably spread out into each other, okay? Okay, next one, next one, next one, next one. And you just keep scooping it all up until all the mixture in your bowl has gone. Now you might need more than one tray because there is quite a lot of mixture for this recipe, okay? So you might need 2 trays to put your cookies onto. And I'm making quite big cookies here. I'm not making little cookies, I'm making big cookies. Hares definitely knows how Miss Andrews likes chocolate and chocolate cookies. So I'm making big cookies. Okay. And I'll put one in the middle. Probably haven't spread them out very well, but doesn't matter. Okay. I'm going to put one in the middle. One very big one in the middle. Okay. Now I'm just going to make sure that they are a little bit more away from each other because I don't want them to spread into each other. Well, you could, but it's going to be one big cookie then. Okay. So I can put one more in this corner here, a little one in the corner. Okay, now I've got some mixture left over, so I'm going to put more into my big cookie, but otherwise you can just do another tray. Okay, there we go. Spread it all out, there we go. Okay, so now these need to go into the oven for 12 to 15 minutes. Now let's have a look at the clock. So my clock at the moment is just gone 2:15. Okay, so the big hand tells us the minutes, the little hand tells us the hour. Okay, so it's going to take 12 to 15 minutes. So if I pretend that that hand was actually on the 3, okay, it hasn't gone past it, it's going to go, it's going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So at about 2:30, I'm going to check my cookies, okay? So it only takes from that big hand to get to there, okay? So before you put your cookies in the oven, you need to check what time it is and what time they need to come out, okay? But they might need longer, they might take a shorter amount of time. You have to keep looking at them, okay? So keep an eye on them with your adult. Remember, ovens are very, very hot and you can burn yourself, okay? So this is not something that you should be touching, okay? So here we go. I'm going to put my cookies in the oven. So I'm going to put the little ones on the top. So it's nice and warm in there now, ready for the cookies to go in. I'm going to put this one on the middle shelf. Okay, so it's very hot in there, so that's why an adult should do it. So I'm going to wait 10-15 minutes and hopefully my cookies are done. Now, I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop the video now, okay, because I can't pause the video, but I will post a picture of my finished cookies once they have finished cooking, okay? So hopefully you enjoyed my recipe and you enjoyed doing some baking today, okay? So bye for now, and make sure you share pictures of your cookies on Teams. I'd really like to see them.